From rigging doors in hopes of avoiding a punishment to sabotaging an opponent during a finale, these were times when Hell's Kitchen chefs got caught cheating. Ben S5 EP12, beginning with Ben from Season 5, who tried hiding an ingredient from the other chefs during Episode 12's individual challenge. By only using their taste buds, each chef competed to see who would come closest to recreating Gordon's fish stew. And although it was implied that everyone had equal access to the ingredients, Ben decided to bend the rules. As everyone else grabbed whatever liquor they thought would recreate the stew, Ben did this instead.
Right when I tasted Chef Ramsay's dish, the first thing I tasted was Pernod.
Not that he's willing to share this information with anyone else.
However, Gordon saw right through his scheme and called him out.
Ben, your alcohol is community property, yes?
Yes, I just was...
Yeah, I don't care, you shellfish bastard.
Even his opponent was left with a sour taste in her mouth.
Was shocked by that. I could have played that catty game, but I decided that that wasn't the noble route to go.
But despite going to such lengths to protect his secret ingredient, he still lost the challenge. Tiffany S10 EP10, another chef who got karma rightfully served to them for cheating, was Tiffany from Season 10, who thought that she could sneak burnt pizza past Gordon Ramsay.
It's burnt, look. Just cut that part off. Who gives a shit?
Unfortunately, Tiffany's plan backfired when Gordon and Chef Andy immediately noticed her poor attempt at hiding her mistake.
Stop!
Yes, chef.
Now we're selling burnt pizza, not crispy and delicious, fucking burnt. Burnt with bits of shit in there. What is going on? All of you, get a grip.
Zach S11 EP4. Similar to Tiffany, Season 11's Zach had a plan that would also flop. In Episode 4's dinner service, Zach pre-cooked all the salmon hoping to get ahead, but instead had to start over and face Gordon's wrath for not understanding that fish must be cooked to order. And despite Gordon's clear instructions to start fresh, Zach secretly snuck the old salmon back on his pan, hoping that Gordon would not notice.
Chef told me that I can't use the fish that I had just cooked off, but the salmon looked perfect. So I figured all I gotta do is finish it off.
However, when Gordon found the tray of old salmon still laying around, he knew Zach was playing games and immediately called him out.
Where's this from?
That's the old stuff, Chef.
That's the old stuff?
Yes, Chef.
Have we been using that?
No, Chef.
Have we, Zach?
No, Chef. We joined the thing straight to the order.
The truth?
Yes, Chef. That's why it's still there, Chef.
Although Zach kept doubling down on his lie, Gordon saw right through the bullshit and shut him down.
Look at me, in the fucking eyes. Did you take salmon from the back and reheat it?
I tried to.
Yes or no?
No, Chef. It's right here.
Shut the fuck up. Fuck off the salmon. Somebody else cooked the fucking salmon.
Brendan S9 EP2. But Zach wasn't the only one to test Gordon's bullshit detector. Because during Season 9, Episode 2, Brendan made the same mistake with his sea bass.
You cooked the bass. Is your meat ready?
No, Chef.
And the garnish all ready?
No, Chef.
You've got to work as a team. Please.
Gordon then instructed the blue team to coordinate their timing for the next order, and explicitly ordered Brendan to fire up a new sea bass. But despite those instructions, he found himself questioning Brendan's integrity when he received the new sea bass just minutes later.
Brendan?
Yes, Chef.
Is that the same bass?
No, Chef.
You didn't start a fresh one?
Yes, I did, Chef.
So where's the old one then?
Threw it away, Chef.
Show me.
And when Brendan could not find the sea bass he supposedly threw away, Gordon continued to press him.
I'm gonna ask you one more time to tell me the truth. Is that the bass from 10 minutes ago, or is that a fresh one you cooked? Because I'm gonna turn this fucking kitchen upside down.
Oh, my God. Chef, yes.
When Brendan finally confessed to his deception, Gordon decisively put him in his place.
And how dare you go to the garbage can, search it, and turn me out like that?
Yes, Chef. Firing
Period.
again. Firing again.
You do that to me one more time, trust me, fuck the elimination. I'll send you out there and then. Let me tell you that.
Yes, Chef. Won't happen again.
Andrew S1 EP6. And while Brendan was caught cheating to save himself, Andrew from Season 1 was caught cheating to help his team. After losing Episode 6's challenge, the blue team's second punishment was having their storeroom locked for the entire dinner service.
Second part of your punishment. I'm locking your storeroom this evening. I think your baby chickens are in there, is that right? Oh, shit.
Making things more difficult by having to enter a code every time they wanted to grab something from inside.
I'll give you the combination. C1690Y.
While his team rushed over to get the storeroom open, Andrew had a brilliant idea.
Give me the tape. Give me the masking tape.
Just fucking do it over.
Just give me the masking tape.
Oh, I got you.
But luck wasn't on his side as sous chef Scott immediately caught him in the act and gave him a piece of his mind.
What are you doing? Get that fucking tape off of there. And get the fuck back in there. You think I'm fucking stupid? I'm not stupid like you. Come here. You fucking guys fucked it up, you get a punishment. You don't fucking rig it so it works for you. You blew it, pay the consequences. Got it? Yes, sir.
And sous chef Scott punished them further by taking the baby chicken back into the storeroom.
Chip, I'm gonna break those down right now. No, you're not, because Andrew just ruined it for you because he was taping the door. When you need him, you gotta come in here and get one.
Adam S14 EP3. Just like Andrew, Adam from season 14 immediately confessed when he was exposed on episode 3's team challenge, where he realized that his risotto would not be ready in time and asked to use Millie's rice as a substitute instead.
Who needs to go, chef? Do you have enough rice to go for 2?
I got that.
Yeah. Last 2 minutes.
And when it came time for Adam's dish to be judged, the team needed both his and Millie's dish to get a point to win the challenge. However, the guest judge made one observation that put Adam in the spotlight.
How did you guys both wind up with rice on the dish? Did you guys share on that one, or?
Did you take some of Millie's rice? I'm sorry? I'm gonna cut the bullshit. Did you take Millie's rice? Yes, sir.
Adam, what the hell are you doing?
After confessing, Gordon revealed that Adam broke the rules and thereby lost the challenge for the blue team. Robin S10 EP7, which also happened to be the team that Season 10's Robin tried to steal meat from. During Episode 7's dinner service, Robin overcooked her beef and ran out of extras to fix her mistake. As a result, she nudged her teammates to try and steal some from the blue team. However, none of them had the guts to do so, leaving her to get exposed by Gordon when he asked her where the beef was.
Any ideas?
I would like to get another beef from the gentleman so I can do it real quick.
Let me tell you something. We just don't go to the blue kitchen and get what you want. It's a competition, you silly cow.
Okay, yes,
That's
chef.
the last fucking time I'm telling you all. Got it?
Yes, chef.
I am so glad I didn't get.
As a result, he forced her to shamefully apologize to the customers and to suggest a new substitute for the beef she screwed up.
Get in the dining room, get hold of James urgently, and tell him you'll fuck up. Hurry up.
Okay, yes, chef. I guess I'm going to walk my happy ass up to table 64 and tell him, I'm sorry, ma'am, we don't have your beef. Would you like a swordfish or a pigeon instead?
Yes,
Pigeon? Okay.
Perfect. Thank you.
Siobhan S7 EP2. However, Robin still looked like a genius in comparison to Siobhan from Season 7, who unintentionally cheated during Episode 2's Egg Challenge, where chefs were paired up to cook 4 different types of eggs in 5 minutes. But for Siobhan, Gordon specifically requested that she tackle the challenge alone as her team was 1 person short. However, all it took was her teammate Autumn asking her to join forces for her to completely abandon those demands.
We have 5 minutes to make these eggs, and I thought immediately, you know what? Siobhan's got all this to do herself.
And when it came time for Gordon to rate her eggs, Siobhan exposed herself after failing to give him a straight answer.
Soft-boiled egg. How long do you boil it for?
I just cook them every day, chef, so I have a very good grasp for how long they're cooked for.
And all it took to break her was Gordon pushing once more.
Just answer me the question. How long did he cook them for?
My teammates helped me, chef.
Your teammates helped you?
Yes, chef.
I asked you to work on your own.
But instead of owning up to her mistakes, she threw the blame on her team.
So if you wanted to, why didn't you?
Because there was pressure from my team. Are you serious? Not from my team, from Autumn.
Oh, Christ.
I just said, if you need a hand, I can help you make one of the eggs.
And she demonstrated just how easily she could crumble under the pressure.
I should have pushed her out of the way, and I'm so mad at myself that I didn't. I'm so mad. I shouldn't have listened to the teammates that were forcing me to do something that I should have known was wrong to do.
In the end, Gordon gave her just 1 point for only managing to cook 1 of the 4 dishes.
You're only going to get credited for the ones you did yourself. So you've done the poached egg, yes? That's delicious. 1 point.
Thank you, chef.
Fuck you off, yeah?
Matthew S20 EP2. However, at least Siobhan admitted to some kind of wrongdoing, as the next chef concealed his cheating until the very end. In a high-pressure cooking competition, chefs are expected to rely on their skills and experience alone. Using any kind of tools such as a meat thermometer is a sign of incompetence. But Season 20's Matthew proved he did not meet those standards because during Episode 2, where he was falling behind on meat, he decided to acquire a small assistance.
My bourbon pineapple reduction, shit hit the fan, it starts smoking, so I completely turn off the heat.
However, as dumb as it was to use the thermometer, it was dumber to leave it lying around for Gordon to find, because he revealed during elimination that even with its help, the blue team still managed to only produce raw meat, rubbing even more salt on the wound.
Ollie, come here. You guys wanted me to eat pink chicken? Seriously?
No, chef.
No, chef. And this is your top dish. Get back in line.
But Gordon decided to not expose the culprit until the very last second. When he called up 3 chefs to defend themselves, he strategically saved Matthew for last, to not only send him home, but to humiliate him at the same time.
Goes to Bryn. Well done.
Good job, Bryn. Good job, Bryn.
So now, I have to decide between Steve and Bryn.
Michael S1 EP 1718, the ironic thing is that Matthew got eliminated for cheating, unlike Michael, who somehow got away with what might be the craziest cheating story in this video. In the finale of Season 1, the final 2 contestants, Ralph and Michael, were each running their own side of the kitchen during a practice service. When it was Ralph's turn to run the pass, the command station where he would be calling out orders and checking every dish before it left the kitchen, Michael saw an opportunity to expose his opponent's weakness.
What are you talking about?
My risotto. I wanted to make risottos the whole night without crab. I was just seeing what I could slip past Ralph tonight.
To Michael's satisfaction, Ralph failed to spot the mistake, even after Gordon gave him a subtle hint, allowing the dish to be served.
Have to taste. I tasted it. You tasted it, yeah?
In my head, I was just sort of laughing like, I can't believe he's letting him go like that.
Just as Michael hoped, the dish got sent back to the kitchen, fulfilling his scheme and getting Ralph in trouble with Gordon.
The risotto is bland, and then he's telling me as well, how could you call it a crab risotto without crab in there?
There's no crab in there at all?
There's no crab in the risotto.
Did you taste it?
Yes, I did, but I didn't.
Come on, big boy. Taste it. Quick.
So we've got a construction worker.
And when Ralph attempted to expose Michael's sabotage, Gordon swooped in to throw the blame back on him.
What'd I do? No crab in the crab risotto?
Ralph, right. You should know that. Yeah, that's why you've got to taste everything, yeah? You're in control, you're in the driving seat, and you should spot those kind of things, yeah?
Yeah, risotto without crab. Makes me look like an ass. I can't have a crab meat risotto, not have crab meat in it.
Gordon says that Ralph should be the one to spot that mistake. It's his job. Instead of getting criticized for his devious actions, Michael was met with Gordon's surprising approval.
And took him down big time. That was an interesting lesson, but a very clever move from Michael's behalf.
Ice cold, the crab.
You got it.
Ice cold. I got to freeze it burn.
Gordon was so impressed, so much so that sabotaging contestants at the pass became a regular feature in future seasons.